It's been a dream to work with Peter for a long time. And then, when dreaming of the story of this season and the character, and I, brought the character up to Ethan, Peter's name came out. And it sort of even kind of became more solidified and inspired when his name came up because they have such a history together. I mean, they've worked together.
Yeah, we arrived in New York City. I met Peter Dinklage in 1990, and his hair was so long, dragging on the ground. And he's been an inspiration to me. So Sterling and Peter have nothing to do with me, loved Reservation Dogs, had met Sterling, loved Sterling. And so we both kind of start texting Peter like, hey, buddy, you want to come to Tulsa? Like that. And he did. And Sterling wrote him this incredible part that got to use our friendship. Our characters had owned this bookstore. Well, Peter and I were part of a theater company. Like we know this world and these men, and it gives the show a subtext. Sterling's inviting a lot of his old friends from his theater company, people he made his first films with, people from Res Dogs. They're all the sound guy had done your first film.
Yeah.
And so there's a
my brother plays Jesus.
Yeah. So everything becomes a little deeper because it has some personal attachments to it.
And I think you feel those personal attachments, and I think you feel the history of Ethan and Peter in those characters. And people ask me, like, you have so many like Oklahomans in the show, ex-Oklahomans in the show. And it's like, you feel it, you can feel that magic happening outside of the words, outside of what you're seeing, you feel it.
You
Name it.
throw me out of my house, or I'm so yeah.
Meaning.
Betty Jo's gonna work every angle, every level, she's like an old 1920s switchboard operator. Yeah, all right, we're gonna plug that in here. Definitely. I think there was obviously an attraction, but her allegiance is, she's been with Donald for decades.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where her heart is. But she wants to hurt him. But I don't think she planned on him knowing. And if she did plan, it would be a part of a plan. I think it happened much faster than she wanted it to happen. Because she's also using Lee for information and finding information. She's working so many different levels. I think him seeing Lee and finding out when he did it happened a little sooner than she wanted and was not expecting.
But it's a nice reveal too. You see how much Donald actually really cares and loves you. know? But that's when he sees that, his response is over the top.
Yeah.
But everything you do, there's some calculation to the web. The web. She's working a web.
Yeah. And sometimes it works for her, and sometimes it doesn't.
That's the beauty of it, right?
We have several personas. The guy that is in front of his parents is not the same guy who presents himself to his friends in the street. It's not the same guy who is in high school with his teachers. If you ask 10 people who this guy is, you'll get at least 8 answers. And so that's what happens, with Donald. I know one guy, and I know him to be, and I know him to be who I think he is. And then it's like, could this be who he really is? But then it's like, the question comes up, is this him on purpose? Does he really know what's happening? Because, if he knew what is going on purpose, then I don't know him. If he's somebody who's being duped because they're great deceivers, they present themselves one way and it's totally something else. So that's how I think we get to maintain the friendship, because he's really, well, I guess he really is the guy that I knew, but he's so busy covering his own hiney that it begins to look like something else.